we are now starting to see a little bit of green for once in the crypto market, which is very good to see. However, this is just a very small green day for crypto, so it's not too much of a celebration just yet, but we are starting to see a nice bounce on some altcoins. And of course, yes, Bitcoin is bouncing right now currently. We'll talk about that, we'll address it, but the biggest thing that we are focused on right now is the factors leading into crypto going absolutely crazy yet again. And I do think that we have a huge signal in front of us that we have to address, we have to talk about it. So let's first start off with just looking at the market real quick. So Bitcoin 107K, nothing too crazy there. Ethereum 3,800, almost 3,900, nothing too crazy there either. XRP $2.35. Like I said, we're not seeing a huge bounce across the board. We're not seeing anything to confirm that, things are going to go crazy just yet in terms of just price action. However, we do have some factors in front of us that are really confirming that we are about to witness a big move if everything plays out. Now, again, the question here is, will we see everything play out? And nobody's going to have the answer for that. But we do have some major indicators that are telling us that there's a high probability chance that things are about to get crazy for crypto. Let's start off looking at some of the charts. So again, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and XRP all trading in a very similar fashion. We are just chopping to the upside now after having that deep wick, which did happen on the 17th. Bitcoin hovering around 103.6K that day for the low. Ethereum hovering around 36, almost 3,700. XRP, $2 and almost 20 cents. A very significant low across the board for crypto. Now again, since then, we've started to bounce. But is the bottom in? Sorry to interrupt the video, but gold just made a new all-time high yesterday. And if you want to catch the waves in both the precious metals market as well as the crypto market, ITrustCapital is your best friend. They offer both crypto and gold and silver trading, but that's not it. If you also want to tap into the IRA side of ITrustCapital to make sure that you are including both crypto and precious metals in your portfolio, you could do that. And also, premium custody accounts include both as well. So if you want to go and tap into this, you guys are more than welcome to in the description down below, as well as in the comments down below, utilizing my link where you deposit $1,000 and you get a free exclusive $100 funding bonus right now. So what are you waiting for? Sign up today. And with that being said, let's dive on back into the video. Well, looking at Bitcoin alone, right? On the 4-hour, it seems as though we are starting to build out a nice floor. RSI is now in an uptrend since going back to Friday, which we like to see. Price action wise, we need a little bit more. Okay, number one, on the daily, we did find some support around 106.4K. We did fill the 702 and the 786 retracement zone completely. And when it comes back to the daily view, main thing that I'm looking at here, flipping the midline. We must flip 108K and build a floor on this level. Now, again, on the daily, we don't really have a floor. On the 4-hour, that's basically where our floor is, but I'm not dead set and sold on that being our bottom just yet until we start to clear some of these key highs, especially when it comes to the daily or even on the 3-day structure. Main thing is, the weekly candle closes 23 hours away. If we can manage to close above 108K, that would be a big signal of some strength and momentum building around Bitcoin. But again, 23 hours away, by the time that this video does go live, we should be closer to like 20 hours away. So again, that's going to be the main thing that I'm focused on when it comes to the weekly candle close. So let's see what happens here. Now, what are the big indicators that we could be seeing a big move in crypto? Well, I want to go back to April and March of this year. What exactly led to crypto having this massive sell-off and then having this huge bounce? Was it just the market bottoming? Was it just, the typical price action of crypto? Like, what really was going on during that time? Well, number one, yes, we had the trade war. Tariffs were getting announced. Everyone was panicking. We started to see stocks selling off as well in a huge way. But also gold. Let's go back in time and look at gold. So obviously gold has been going insane, new all-time highs almost every single day. And if we go back to April, gold topped, for the local top, I mind you, in the week of April 21st. Now we just chopped and chopped and chopped, and yes, we did start to break out in June, but for the most part, gold was very boring, just doing something sideways until we started to go crazy. Now during this time, Bitcoin bottoms April 7th, first week of April. The 21st, the week of the 21st, where gold, again, hits the local top, sells off. That's the week where Bitcoin goes crazy. And we continue to go crazy all the way up until roughly May 19th, the week of May 19th. Well, here we have May 19th. Gold goes crazy yet again. Starts to chop a bit. Again, the next key high here was July 7th. Here we have, let's go to July 7th. Here we have July 7th. Again, gold is very boring. Bitcoin continues to just chop against resistance. We hit a high on September 29th, basically the end of, September. Again, during this time, gold is starting to break out and go crazy. So now what we are starting to see is a rotation from Bitcoin into gold to support this big push to the upside. However, look at RSI. RSI on the weekly for gold is telling us that this thing is extremely overbought. This is at the time where on the weekly, Bitcoin is back down to that midline. This is almost right around those lows going back to April. Now, again, we're thinking about gold and, crypto. We know that when gold got boring and it started to sell off, crypto started to bounce in a big way. Even when it goes back to the total, here we have April 21st, the total going crazy all the way into May, sell off, goes crazy again. During this time, gold, very boring, all the way up until roughly the end of August. And again, since the end of August, most of the gains in crypto were pretty minuscule. This is because retail focuses on hype. So when gold is making new all-time highs, we're starting to see the rotation. We're starting to see the focus going away from crypto into gold and stocks. But now the story is gold hitting another local top, or is gold topped officially? Well, if that's the case, let's look at this chart. We have here from Crypto Insight UK, seeing this chart make the rounds. Thoughts? Because again, we go back to 2020. In 2020, gold topped around the summer of 2020. During that time, Bitcoin started to have a sell-off, but then it went absolutely insane into 2021. Again, here we have gold. Let's go back to gold real quick. RSI, extremely overbought. By the way, higher time frame. Look at the 3-week on this thing. Look at the monthly view. Again, here we have the monthly view back in July of 2020. RSI overbought, sells off. It doesn't even have to crash, guys. Gold just needs to get boring again. This RSI is telling us that gold is the most overbought in history since going all the way back to 1979 on the monthly view. Now, mind you, let's look at Bitcoin. Look at where Bitcoin is. If we are bottomed here, Bitcoin should skyrocket and we should see a high anywhere between like $180,000 to $200,000 on Bitcoin. Now, on top of that, what's the factors leading to gold topping? Is it just us thinking about it? No. Here we have from Ted Pillows, gold local top seems to be in. The monthly RSI is at a 50-year high. People are waiting hours to buy gold, and US-China negotiations have been ongoing. I think a rally towards the 4350 level before dumping to 4100 could happen in the coming weeks. Again, we want to watch as gold sells off and gets boring again. But yes, there is factors leading us to believe that gold is getting extremely hyped up. We are starting to see FOMO hitting gold. We're starting to see gold holders being extremely euphoric. This is because we are starting to see FOMO hitting all-time highs. Why do I think that? Is it just because the chart is telling us that gold is oversold and, gold is hitting massive all-time highs? No. It's because we literally have people in Singapore lining up to buy gold and silver. Look at how crazy this is. People are lining up to buy gold and silver, and they're FOMOing in. Again, I understand that this is very exciting to see if you hold gold and silver, which, for years I've been talking to you guys about how to diversify into gold and silver as well as holding crypto. But this is telling me that we could potentially be seeing a major top for gold this cycle. This will lead to something like this back in 2020, except this year. On top of this, we are starting to see major hype building around gold, like Florida, for an example, passing a law recognizing gold and silver coins as legal tender, tax-free, and can be used for paying debts and government fees. This will go into effect July 1st of next year. But this is adding to the hype. This is adding to the big push happening around gold and silver. It's at the same exact time that we have over here that 2024 Chinese gold discovery revives Bitcoin scarcity debate on X. Because again, we know that in China, they just stumbled upon the largest gold mine in the world, which is crazy. We have here a supergiant gold deposit discovered in China in November of last year, containing over 300 metric tons with potential for 1,000 tons more and valued at 83 billion, resurfaced on X in October of this year. Bitcoin advocates highlighted the cryptocurrency's fixed 21 million supply cap in contrast to gold's expandable reserves. Because again, with gold, yes, everyone is always looking into the idea of, is there going to be a lot more supply released around gold? Yes, we're going to start to see more and more gold discovered as time goes on. However, the biggest thing that we are focused on here is that gold is at all-time highs. Euphoria and hype around gold is also skyrocketing at the time where RSI is hitting a 50-year high. I really do think that we will see the hype around gold die down. This is also at the same exact time that over here from Altcoin Gordon, the Russell 2000 has hit a new all-time high. Markets are focusing on risk on assets now, and altcoins will be next. I do agree. Listen, if gold is officially hitting a local top or a macro top, and crypto starts to go crazy, we will see the same exact FOMO that just hit gold, hit Bitcoin, hit crypto, and yes, Altseason will officially begin. Now, what's the probability of all of this playing out? I would say a high 60 to 70%. Because again, we are seeing the warning signs, especially on the chart for gold. I mean, when you are looking at this, regardless of the structure, it could be the weekly, it could be the 3-day, it could be the daily. We are seeing RSI peaking in a huge way here. I'm a huge advocate for gold. I think everyone should be holding gold. I think everyone should be diversifying into gold and silver as well as crypto. However, the facts are the facts. The indicators are telling us that gold is extremely overcooked right now. This is also at the same exact time that the total and even Bitcoin are at the midline, which tells us that these two charts, Bitcoin and even the total, has a lot more gas left in the tank. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on because I'm free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. And with that being said, guys, this has been Nick. Thanks for watching. Peace out, guys.